Wash that floor, make it shine.
You missed the spot.
Oh my, they're closed.
Wow.
Oh, all right, let's go.
Hey guys, look what I found.
Come on.
That's not all. What if you're connected too? What? He created this character for you. He gave you that sword right before he died. She doesn't care. She's just pissed because I might get suspended.
Suspended? For what?
It wasn't me. It was the clown. The little girl brought it in.
The principal literally caught you red-handed. I'm calling Dr. Schifrin on Monday. I'm putting a stop to this now. And put your goddamn bowl in the sink. I'm not telling you again.
We both know what happened to Daddy. Okay, none of this was his fault. And all of these ugly things in here, that's not who he was.
Aren't you a little old to be trick-or-treating? You're really weird, you know that? The whole creepy silent mime gimmick? I mean, it's very effective. Silent mime gimmick? Silent mime gimmick? Silent mime gimmick? Come on. Fine. Here. Happy Halloween.
After months of rehabilitation and psychoanalysis. Like you, Sienna.
I never know when to stop.
Stop it now, I mean it.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
And I was flipping through, and there happened to be an actual photograph of one of his victims in it, and it was so disturbing. And it was just this poor mutilated woman on a bed. You couldn't even tell it was a human being anymore. I said, I'm going to take that image and let's reverse engineer it. And if Art the Clown was responsible, how did that poor victim end up in that state? So I said that's a good way to start.
So yeah, the night that this was actually premiering, I was rushed to the hospital. The night before that night, I was trying to do a green screen background drop over there on the other side of the studio. And I haven't used a green screen forever. They usually don't look very good, but I wanted to do a bit. And it had a lot of wrinkles in it, and I couldn't find my iron, so I found on YouTube a life hack. Basically, in a nutshell, they were like, if you take some Febreze and a hairdryer, and you spray the green screen on the creases, on the wrinkles, while hitting it with the hairdryer, it'll take out all the creases. Use water, it's fine. Use a spray bottle, it's fine. Don't be an idiot like me. And as I'm doing it, I'm spraying it above me, and some of it got in my face a little bit, kind of trickled down from above because I'm spraying it up, and I was like, and I was like, damn, and it got in my throat. And I grew up having asthma, so like I felt it in the back of my throat, didn't think anything of it, ate some food, took a shower, drank some water, went to bed. Following morning, I wake up and I feel like this tightness in my throat, but now it's lower down here in my chest. And then, you know, I'm like, all right, well, let me just like get some water in me, I'll eat some food, I'll go for a walk, you know, I'll kind of, you know, I'm fine, right? But hours go by and it's getting worse and worse and worse, and now I can't even breathe. I feel like someone's clenching my lungs a little bit, and I'm like, oh my god, what the hell? Is this it for me? Am I gonna be part of this angel group? I'm like, is this like the last chapter? It's like, what are we doing? And I look up online, you know, some real armchair medical advice on WebMD and whatever, and I'm like, the only thing I could think of is like that stupid fucking Febreze. And I look it up and they're like, well, technically, if you inhale enough of it, and I sprayed 2 cans of that shit, if you inhale enough of it, it can cause lethal lung damage. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm reading, it says, it'll get worse as it goes, and it will cause irreparable damage to your lungs. Some people are unable to speak again or properly breathe again without an apparatus, or you might just die. So I'm like, oh, well, that's good. So best case scenario, I die. Worst case scenario, I can't talk and I can't breathe very well without extra equipment of some kind, because that's what the article said. Again, never do your homework online. It's a scary place. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to drive to the hospital and I'm going to check myself in and I'm going to get myself looked at, because now I'm getting super damn tired. And I know, like, whenever you feel deathly ill and also tired, it's probably not a good idea to go to sleep, especially if nobody's there with you watching you. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to drive to the hospital. I'm like, let me go just to be double checked. So I go to the I'm trying to drive to the hospital, and 10 minutes later my head's on fire now and I can barely breathe. And I just pull into like the local Wawa, because I'm in Jersey, we got Wawas. And I walk to the front desk and I'm like, I don't mean to be alarming, but I can't breathe and it's getting worse. Can you call someone? I think in my head I'm like, I'm trying to do this as calmly as possible, because if I stay calm, my body will thank me. It'll be easier to breathe. You know, I kind of go into like survival mode of like mind over matter. I don't panic. I just focus in because there's a mission in hand, right? So the lady was very nice. She calls EMTs, they get there immediately, they're giving me like water and ibuprofen or something like that, and they're just like, you know, it's funny, I'm telling them, I think it was the Febreze, and like, you know, the guy looks at me like, right, Febreze. And I'm like, I know it sounds stupid, but I can't think of anything else. Another EMT comes in, and like, in the most snarky way, the EMT number 1 says to EMT number 2, he says he inhaled some Febreze. Just like that. Like, alright. No need to come at my throat, but alright. And so sure enough, they take me to the hospital, and, you know, they hook me up with the IVs and all that crap, and like, you know, an hour goes by and a doctor comes in and she's like, well, it wasn't the Febreze. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but I have lung damage? Am I okay? You know, they took like an x-ray of my chest and all bit. They're like, no, your lungs are perfectly fine. We listen to you breathe. We know you used to have asthma as a kid and you still kind of do now. Do you have an inhaler? I'm like, no, I don't carry an inhaler. I haven't needed one. And they're just like, all right, but, you know, you don't have any issues with your lungs. However, you've got COVID. And I'm like, the strangest thing, I was like, I have COVID? Hell yeah! And she's like, what? So I was like, and I said to him, like, I can manage that. I thought I destroyed my lungs. I thought I was gonna have to have like some type of like surgery or like, you know, irreparable damage. And I'm like, I can deal with COVID. I've had my 3 shots. You know, this is just Omicron, which is a more mild version of it. And like I said, I've had my boosters and all that. So like, I could deal with that. All I gotta do is quarantine for like 10 to 14 days, and exactly what I did. And then on around day, somewhere between 17 and 20, I went to go see Damien Leone and Kevin Smith and the cast and crew of Terrifier 2. And I was fine, because they said to me, quarantine for 5 days away from everybody. And then for the following day, 5 days after that, wear a mask around people. And then by day 11, you can, take the mask off, go back to work, do this, do that, because now you have the antibodies and you're not contagious. And I think when I went to go see Damien and Kevin and all of them, it was like day 17-ish around there, so it was more in the clear. And I'll tell you more about that story later, but that's my story. I almost died in my head, and it's because of that I had a real awakening moment. I was thinking about all the things that you guys were talking about in that little pale girl video, and I said, you know what? I gotta do something with my life, because if I died yesterday, how would I feel about that? So I decided we're starting a non-profit organization that's going to raise money for the families of children that have been diagnosed with a terminal illness such as cancer. And it's going to be largely based in Boston, because that's where my sister was, the Boston Children's Hospital. Because, my goal is to help the people that helped us, and I know what financial ruin can put on a family. I know it put my family into bankruptcy. The co-pays alone is enough to give you a nosebleed. So that's what we're gonna be doing, and it's gonna be called Much Love. On the little tagline below, it's gonna say love, hope, and survival, ellipsis, through horror, because it's going to be a horror-based charity, much like Cares for Scares, I think the name of it is. And it's got two meanings, because if you ever saw any of these poor kids trying to get by in their day-to-day, you would realize that they're living a real-life horror movie, worse than anything you could see on the screen. Michael Myers, he gets in there, he's done within 10 minutes. These poor troopers, they keep pushing, and they go on days, weeks, months, years. Every day is a uphill battle. Every day is painful. And we want to help out the families that are financially just gutted by it all, because it's kind of one of those things that are overlooked. Medical insurance doesn't cover enough. So more about that on the way. Until next time, guys, if you like this kind of video, if you want to see part 2, which is coming out soon, make sure that you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, ring that notification bell so that when we drop part 2 of this video, you're good to go. And we got all kinds of Terrifier videos down below in the tab. Go check those out. Also, guys, don't forget that Terrifier 2 is coming out to physical media on December 27th. If you haven't gotten a pre-order yet, there's an affiliate link right here. Go check it out. They have 4 different versions, but the one that I really like is the one that is the 4K slip. Look at that, split right down the middle. How do you not like something like that? See Art the Clown in all of its 4K glory. Until next time, I've been Johnny Burns here on Burns Reviews. You just got burned. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Drop on by the Clown Cafe. Drop on by the Clown Cafe. The grub is downright gruesome, but your appetites obey. 'Cause food's a little funny. Food's a little funny. Food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe.
Sienna. Dad would have loved it.
Bye.